tariffs. With that, we'll welcome in Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School and author of the book, The Preventative State. Professor, great to see you. So we obviously are listening into some of these arguments. We heard from the U.S. Solicitor General earlier representing the tariffs. The big argument right now, just for our viewers, and I know you were listening, are the main one that you already knew was going to happen. Tariffs are taxes. And Katyal's argument went on to say our founders gave that taxing power to Congress alone. Can you pick it up from here, Professor?
Yeah, well, tariffs are not taxes. Taxes are taxes, and tariffs are tariffs. And, the Chief Justice called the health care bill, sustained at 5-4 on the ground, arguing about whether it was a tax or not. I don't think the court's going to decide the case on that basis, and they shouldn't. Look, there's a great conflict here. The conflict is the president has foreign policy powers and Congress has revenue-raising powers. Tariffs are both. The president uses it for both reasons. He wants to influence foreign policy. He's threatened, obviously, Russia. He's threatened everybody. Canada, tariffs because of fentanyl. That's plainly within the president's prerogative. On the other hand, he also says, well, we got to get rich again, and getting rich again means tariffs. So it's a great constitutional conflict, and there are great lawyers on both sides. So I think we're going to see a very, very important decision. I think it'll be a split decision. Obviously, the lawyer for the businesses is wrong when he says the president can simply walk across the street and by a majority get authority to do the tariffs. That's just not the way politics works today. No. And if the president doesn't have the power, he may not get it at all. So this is a very, very important decision. I think on balance, the court probably will defer to the president. But it's unclear. The questions seem to be going the other way. But the constitutional analysis would seem to suggest that if there is a dominant intention, purpose of influencing foreign policy, that the president probably gets the last word on that.
And President Trump is citing the International Emergency Economic Powers Act as the justification for the tariffs here. Would you consider us in the midst of an emergency and a valid reason as to why the president wants to enforce these now?
I think that's his weakest argument. I'm surprised that was the argument that the administration relied on. I think they have much, much stronger arguments, both legislative arguments and constitutional arguments. But the court may say, look, we don't think it's an emergency, but that's not our decision to make. It's for the president to make. He has the CIA and the FBI. He has all the sources of intelligence that we don't have. So although we may disagree with him, we may in the end have to defer to his constitutional authority. This is not an easy case. And I don't think anybody can predict based on the arguments necessarily what the split will be or what the outcome will be.
I do, to me, find it interesting, the argument from the attorney for the businesses challenging the tariffs, Neil Katyal, that he brought up past presidents, and they have never done what President Trump has done before. Is that a strong argument? I mean, Trump is his own person. He's a businessman first and foremost. That's how we know him. Perhaps this president looked at something that other presidents weren't privy to.
No, I think it's not a strong argument. I think that Neil, who's a very, very good lawyer, excellent constitutional lawyer, is looking for one justice. I mean, when you're a smart Supreme Court litigator, as he is, you're always counting the noses. And if he can get one person to agree with that argument, even though I don't think it's a particularly strong argument, presidents didn't do it, that gives him an extra vote. And this very well could be a 5-4 decision. So he's doing a smart thing making that argument, but that argument will not prevail, I believe, with a majority of the justices.